tired of yanking your ball to the left? Maybe cutting across your target line, slicing it off into places where only forest creatures live? You know, could be your setup. Let's take a look at a couple of fundamentals, see if we can't straighten out your ball flight. Welcome to Brambleton Regional Park Golf Course. I'm Tom Buckley. I'm the Director of Instructor and the head professional here. Today I want to talk to you about a couple of fundamentals that are going to help you straighten out your ball flight if you're somebody who pulls the ball left of target or slices it off to the right. One of the first things we're going to look at is what happens with the shoulders at setup. Oftentimes what I see with my students is a position something like this, where the shoulders are actually aimed left of the target. And there's a reason for this. Alright, the first setup fundamental we're going to look at is the spine. We all know about how the spine has to be tilted forward in order to free up our arms to be able to swing the golf club. What we often miss, though, is the second angle of the spine, and that is where the spine is actually tilted away from the target. And there was a reason for that. All right, I want everybody at home up off the couch, stand up tall, stand up with your arms out, just like this, and I want you all to make your right arm longer than your left. Let me do it again. Make your right arm longer than your left. And what you're going to notice, in order to do that, your right shoulder moved forward. It had to do that. Well, guess what happens when we grab a golf club? For a right-handed golfer, our right hand has to go lower on the club than the left. That's going to pull our shoulder forward when we do that, if we don't do something about the spine angle. So it's not good enough just to have it forward. We've got to have that spine angle tilted slightly away from the target. Now, the amount of the tilt will depend on your grip. Obviously, if you're gripping the club with your hands apart in this fashion, then you're going to have a greater tilt in order to get your right hand lower on that club than your left. If you double overlap, then obviously you're not going to have quite so much of a tilt. But the point is, we've got to tilt the spine away from the target, which puts our shoulders on this type of angle, puts my right shoulder lower than my left, which means I'm going to be able to place my right hand lower than the left on the golf club, and thereby keeping the shoulder square to the target. All right, let's take another look at this. Again, we want the spine angle not only forward, but tilted slightly away from the target. I want to emphasize that the key words here are spine angle. This little computer up on top of our shoulders, we need to provide the right information for us to make the right movement. If we think drop our shoulder, make our right shoulder lower than our left, make our right arm lower than our left, then our brain up here is going to do just that. It's going to stand forward with a spine angle, but then only drop the shoulder, and that's going to sort of bend us, turn us into a pretzel, and it won't relate to the spine actually tilting so we can make a better rotation during our golf swing. So it's very important that we use the right terms. It's not just a matter of semantics, it's all on how this thing relates to what we physically do. All right, here's what happens again in a typical setup. We get up, we get all nice and stable in our posture, we simply tilt our spine forward, our left hand is on the club, we go to put our right hand on it, and it opens up our shoulders. You probably cannot see my left shoulder on the camera. So this is the part we need to fix, because from this position, I'm going to swing out and across my target line, pulling or slicing the golf ball. What I've got to come up now is we've got to remember that second spine angle. Want to set up, nice good posture to begin with. Now I want to take my spine and tilt it, and I'm going to imitate an airplane wing here. I'm going to simply tilt it about 30 degrees or so, enough to be able to bring my arm around and set it low on the golf club and still remain square. Y'all try that at home. Y'all get up off the couch, put down the potato chips, get up there and practice that. Stand a little living room lesson. I'm going to stand out, get a nice tilt forward. We're going to make an airplane wing, and we're going to tilt our spine to the side. Let me take a look at it this way. I'm going to stand up, get a nice spine tilt forward so our arms are hanging nice and loose. We're going to make an airplane wing, and going to tilt our spine away from the target. So now our right shoulder is lower than our left, but it's because our spine is tilted. Relax our knees and place our hands in a grip position. All right, now that we got our shoulders all square to the target, we're going to take a look at the second fundamental. It's going to keep us from swinging out across our target line, pulling it left, or slicing it to the right. Once we're all set up, we get to the top of our backswing, it's important to remember that the move toward the target, the very first move, is with our lower body. If we don't do that, if we begin the downswing with our upper body, then that club is going to come out and cut across the target line, and again we're going to pull or we're going to slice. So again, once we're all set up, get to the top of the backswing, the next move is the left leg begins to turn and straighten. You may feel like it's the knee, you may feel like it's the left hip getting out of the way. Those are swing keys. But fundamentally, the forward motion, the beginning of the downswing, has got to begin here. Got to begin with the lower body. Step back and make a throw. When you reach back to make a throw, the first thing you do is plant that left foot so you can move your body through and get the most efficient power out of the core. Same thing applies in a golf swing. On the top of the swing, we must begin here on our left side to begin the motion forward to the target. If we do, look something like this. In the hole. And now for the tip of the day. Obviously I have an uneven lie. It happens on a golf course. This particular lie, downhill, is causing me to set up in a way that is uncomfortable. Oftentimes we read about how we got to get our shoulders and our hips and our body aligned with the planet. In fact, the most important thing in a golf swing is to remain stable. What we want to do to hit a shot like this, where the situation is something less than level, is to set up in a normal situation with a normal ball position and set up in a way that's going to keep you balanced on the land. In this case, I've got a little wider than normal stance, but none of that makes any difference. I feel balanced from this position. With the ball in a correct position, I'm going to then take a swing, and what I'm going to look for is where my club strikes the planet, because that's going to become my ball position. All right? You'll notice that the club hit the planet way back here, off the inside of my right foot. That's dictated by my swing on this day on this particular lie. So again, based on where my club strikes the ground, that's going to dictate my ball position for this particular shot. So because it struck on the inside of my right foot when I set up, that's where I'm going to put the ball. After that, everything is normal. There you have it. Let's keep it simple. You're going to find when you do it that way too, the ball's going to go straight. You're not going to have to worry about it curving off left or right based on the situation. So just play the ball where the club hits the planet.